Now, the U.S. government has announced that from Thursday, August 29th, Nigerians around the world applying for non-immigrant U.S. visas will be required to pay a visa issuance fee or a reciprocity fee when their application is approved. However, those whose applications are denied will not be required to pay the fee. There will be validity periods for approved applicants to give them time to pay the issuance fee. The new policy is based on a U.S. law that requires U.S. visa fees and validity periods to be based on the treatment afforded to U.S. citizens by foreign government. Therefore, the visa issuance fees are implemented under the principle of reciprocity. For when a foreign government imposes additional visa fees on U.S. citizens, the United States will impose fees on citizens of that country for similar types of visas. According to a statement from the U.S. mission in Nigeria, the total cost for a U.S. citizen to obtain a visa to Nigeria is said to be currently higher than the total cost for a Nigerian to obtain a comparable visa to the United States. The new fee for Nigerian citizens is meant to eliminate that cost difference. The fees vary for all types of visas from B1, B2 to R1, R2, which can be viewed on travel.state.gov. Now, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Nigeria has debunked reports about 23 Nigerians being executed in Saudi Arabia for drug offences. According to a press release, the Nigerian mission in Saudi Arabia was not informed of the arrest and trial, and it is investigating claims that most of the trials were carried out without adequate legal representation for the accused in accordance with internationally accepted legal principles. However, the federal government says it is engaging the Saudi authorities through diplomatic channels with a view to finding a just solution. Now, the leader of the Rwandan community in Mozambique has been shot dead in the capital, Maputo. Officials say Louis Baziga was in his car at midday on Monday after leaving his home in Matola when he was targeted by gunmen who intercepted his car. Mr. Baziga was a known supporter of the Rwandan government of President Paul Kagame and was a successful businessman running shops and a pharmacy in Maputo. He had lived in Mozambique for decades following the Rwandan genocide, and as the official leader of the Diaspora in Mozambique, had close links to the embassy. The gunmen are yet to be identified, and the motive for his killing is unclear. In Central Africa, a court hearing on whether Gabon's president, Ali Bongo, is fit to govern after suffering a stroke in 2018 has been delayed. Lawyer Agnes Kevin Nzingo, who is representing one of the petitioners, says all hearings have been postponed until next Monday because the number of judges is insufficient. The petition of the Court of Appeal was brought by 10 members of civil society, the trade union movement and opposition parties. They want President Bongo to undergo a medical examination to see whether he is still in a position to rule. The 60-year-old made his first public appearance earlier this month since returning to the country in March after being treated for a stroke in Morocco. Now, the police in Kenya have arrested 2 chiefs in the northeastern region for inflating figures during the ongoing national census. Regional Administrator Lloyd Kibara says they allowed enumerators to count people twice in Wajir County. More chiefs in the county and in the neighboring Mandera County are also being sought for the same offense. The last census in 2009 became controversial after Kenyan Somalis were reported to have registered an increase in their population. The numbers were widely doubted, and the matter went to court, which ruled in 2016 that the census figures should be officially accepted. Now, Kenyan journalist Cyprus Mbati joins us live from Nairobi to tell us more about this. Thank you for joining us on the program. So, Cyprus, explain to us the motivation behind this, the alleged census fraud committed in Wajir County.
Good evening. I'm calling from Kenya, and I can confirm to you that the census exercise is going on. And we've recorded a number of incidents where the cases of fraud, especially from the northern part of Kenya, those places bordering Kenya and the Somalia border. We've had incidents of fraud whereby some locals are registering twice, and this is motivated by a kind of a rally by the local leadership that they need to have more population in the area for them to get more allocation in terms of finances in the coming years. Remember, kind of a census is done after 10 years. So from 2019 now, the next one will be 2029. So the locals have been told that if there are many, they will get more money. So that's why we have had incidents of double registration, double counting, or rather, and even some leadership, or rather, the authorities, local chiefs, have been arrested for abetting that kind of crime. The motivation is money, more allocation.
Yeah, Cyprus, we also understand that more chiefs in the county and in the neighbouring Mandera County are being sought for the same offence. But what punishment are they likely to face for this crime?
Those caught cheating in this exercise can face up to almost 500,000 US dollars. That's 500,000 Kenyan shillings, or 20 years in jail in Kenya here. So far, we've had a number of people arrested for the called fraud, including the local 2 chiefs who were arrested in Wajir. They were leading locals in carrying out double counting, double enumeration. These are motivated by lies or other rallies that the more they are, the more money they will get. And there are fears that if there are less people, their constituencies may be scrapped. So the crime is punishable, and they know very well what's ahead of them. It's a crime to do that.
It's quite funny that this isn't really the first time. You know, the last census in 2009 was also controversial after Kenyan Somalis were reported to have registered an increase in their population. What measures has the government actually put in place or is planning to put in place to prevent a reoccurrence?
Census exercise which took place in 2009 in the same area, that's Mandera, Garissa, Wajir, which borders Somalia and Ethiopia, were controversial in the last exercise, in the sense that we understand that the then leadership knew that the more people they are, the more allocations there were. So they cooked the figures to make sure that the numbers that reflected in the census then showed there were many. But then when you come to voting, you find that the number is different. So it means there was fraud which was committed then. So far, the government has introduced electronic, digital kind of census system, whereby you insert you include, or rather you put in your name, your details, place of birth, general details of human, of anybody, where he comes from. Then they are demanding that, especially those people coming from the border areas, they produce their national identity cards. This now will be able to deter and kind of influx of foreigners. You see, the Kenyan Somalis who live in the northern part of Kenya, they have friends or relatives in Somalia itself, and Ethiopia. So there have been incidents where people are being ferried to those areas to be counted. But now, to counter that, the government is making sure that those people who are being counted are asked to explain whether to identify themselves, to justify that they're Kenyans. That's one way of deterring that kind of crime. And then the local chiefs, and unfortunately some of them are being involved in this crime, the local chiefs have to accompany those enumerators to those homes to be able to confirm that they know so and so comes from such and such a village. So those are some of the measures taken by the local authorities, Kenyan authorities, to stop fraud in this exercise which is going on. It's going to end by the end of this week, that 1st of August.
All right, Kenyan journalist Cyprus Mbati speaking to us there from Nairobi. Well, still to come on Network Africa. Ghana's Chale Street Festival celebrates art and culture. That's in a moment. Please stay with us.